guys, Gengar Boy's back, and I see a Primal Kyogre Faint. Primal's on both sides, but both players shaking hands. Good game, so it looks like it's over. Yeah. So I was able to finish my game fast, but they were too. And wow. So I believe Johnny was 4-0, and that he'll take his first loss. And Cyrus, the famous tallest man in VGC, comes out with the win. Wow. So we see more primals here. No surprise. I actually I did not face a primal this last round. So I mean that was the first. I believe. Yeah, I didn't face any primals last round, so I think that was really hurt. I didn't bring out my ground on that game, but I mean, you really gotta have a primal. If not, you're not gonna do so well. It's gonna be really hard for you. But yeah. Okay, so let's talk about these players for a bit. Johnny, who was undefeated before this game, he's a player that's been coming around to SoCal. I mean, he hasn't been doing this so hot. So seeing him today, seeing him today do so well at 4-0, coming back. I mean, he just came back from a trip from Vietnam. He hasn't had any practice. That's really good. So I'm really excited. I'm really surprised to see that. So that was great. On the other hand, Eric's a notable player in VGC. He is the tallest man, and he's had a lot of accomplishments. I believe he's top cut nationals twice. I always see him top cutting regionals. He does well all around online tournaments. So no surprise there to see these top two players as the #1 seed. That was the last round. Round 5, we'll finish it off for, I believe, a top 8 cut. So once we get these matches going, finished, we do see a couple players. We'll post that up there. We'll post it up for you as for the top 8. But yes. How about we have Cyrus come get interviewed?
Never done an interview before, so
Let's do this.
this may be my only opportunity. So. Does that look okay?
You look beautiful.
Okay.
So here we got Eric Holstrom, aka Cyrus, on Nugget Bridge. How are you doing, Cyrus? How?
Very well. I'm a lot better than I thought I would be.
So let's talk about your match. I mean, I only came in on the last turn when you knocked out both of his Pokemon. So what did you think? Like what was your game plan going into this? Seeing Johnny was 4-0.
Well, I was pretty scared at that, though I felt pretty good because we were both at the first table or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw his team. It looked like he had both a Trick Room and I thought he had a Cresselia. But I also saw a Tailwind option with Salamence. And he had a Weavile Salamence. So it looked like, he's more likely to be a Tailwind. So I predicted he probably would lead with Weavile Salamence. So I led with my Kangaskhan and Whimsicott.
Mm-hmm.
And my Kangaskhan is Inner Focus. So I figured he would fake out my Kangaskhan, because he's faster. But
okay.
So I kept it on Evolve. I faked out his Salamence, and then set up my own Tailwind. Basically from there I had momentum. So it was kind of difficult to come back after that.
Oh really? Okay. Well, that's good.
But I kept it up. I didn't miss any Origin Pulses, thankfully, and I think that's pretty much that first turn was pretty much the decider. I think. So.
Mm-hmm. And I know we did talk about this a little bit earlier. How one turn can completely change the match.
Oh yeah, especially in this game, or this meta game, with the primals and everything being so powerful. One turn can make a huge difference. It's really hard to come back.
So let's talk about your team for a little bit. I mean, I saw Kangaskhan, Whimsicott, Aegislash, Ho-Oh, Kyogre. What was your thoughts when building this team?
Well, I guess my start was to pick a primal. I was experimenting with with both of them. I started out using Groudon, but looking at statistics, I saw a couple of other people using Groudon,
right.
So I kind of like to do the opposite of that. So Kyogre made the most sense, and then I basically built from there, and then I was trying to find my last slot. I hadn't picked my other restricted yet, and I was like, what would make the most sense? And so I tried a Ho, and I'm thinking like, actually Ho is pretty good. I mean, you can actually switch into Xerneas with Ho because it's got such a massive special defense, and if Groudons aren't running rock moves, which a lot aren't right now, it's actually probably a pretty good metagame pick. I imagine later on in the season there will probably be more rock moves on Groudon, but since it's so early and people are tending to choose what's popular right now, I thought it was a pretty safe bet to bring Ho, and it's worked really well in all the matches I brought it. So
that's a really good metagame call, Eric.
Yeah.
And we do see Groudon and Xerneas pretty much dominate this format right off the bat.
Yep.
And there's not many Pokemon that can take hits from both Fire and Fairy type moves, and Ground as well. And Ho-Oh is one of the very, very few Pokemon that can do that. It is a Fire and a Flying type Pokemon. Much like Charizard and Talonflame, it's really weak to Rock Slide, and I know that one was one of the most popular moves. I'm pretty sure Rock Slide was the number one most used move last year, but we don't really see that much. So Ho-Oh was a really good call. It can take hits from Xerneas' Dazzling Gleam and Moonglass, even if it's at +2 G.
Yeah, it still doesn't do 50%, at least on the way I've built mine. So it's really. I predict that Rock Slide will make a comeback later on. I mean, it usually does.
I'm sure we'll see Rock Slide.
Yeah, we'll see Rock Slide.
I've seen it a couple times today.
But yeah, like early on, I think Ho is actually a pretty good choice.
Okay.
But that's kind of my star right now, I'm finding.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And that's a good star that you have just because of the centralized metagame.
Yep.
Now, I got another question. You do have Kyogre.
Yep.
Right? And Kyogre pretty much brings permanent rain. Now, does it ever affect you when you have Kyogre and Ho at the same time, and that you can't use your fire type moves?
Well, the great thing about the primals is you can just switch out your Kyogre and get rid of the rain. So it hasn't really proved to be that much of a problem. I mean, my other move is Sacred Fire, which is like it's both utility and damage, but I'm more interested in the utility of it. I think actually about 50-50. I don't have a lot of attack EVs in my Ho either. It's mostly defensive, so it doesn't really affect it that much. And it just fits so well into my team, just like defensive-wise. One of the things about my teams is that I like to build defensively. I like to cover the weaknesses and have some switching options. So it just fits so well, and I can, I'm able to get around the fact that I use Kyogre as well.
Okay.
I mean, it's got Braver, which is an awesome move. So.
And those are really good points.
Yep.
I know Eric's really famous for playing defensively.
Oh, I'm famous? Well, people have played me, I guess.
So another point in your team, another Pokemon that I thought was really cool, really interesting, was your Aegislash. Now, the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of Aegislash. It's very popular. It's a good Pokemon. But they opt to be special. Majority of the Aegislashes are special, and they use Shadow Ball, Flash Cannon. But Eric, I saw Iron Head and Shadow Sneak on your Aegislash. Why did you choose a physical Aegislash?
Xerneas and I've seen so many people use the Whimsicott Mega Gengar strat. Shadow Sneak 1-hit KOs the most Mega Gengar. So, and I gave it a Life Orb too, just so it would do that, and also 1-hit KO most Xerneas. After my team is somewhat reliant on Tailwind. If I get the Tailwind up, my Aegislash is faster than Xerneas after a Chicomancy, so I can 1-hit KO with the Iron Head after a Tailwind. That's kind of what I was going for.
Okay.
And it's I mean, Aegislash also proven really well. It's pulling its weight. White Guard has proved useful so far, and my 2 attacking moves. So.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Is there anything else would you like to say?
I'm really excited about the new meta game. I was kind of bored with the last one, so.
You're bored of the last one?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure a lot of you.
When what was it like? The top 8 of Worlds, there were only 10 different Pokemon between all of them, or something like that. I was like, man, this is so stale now, and like everyone's using chalk and stuff like that. So I was really excited when the new meta was announced. So it shakes things up a bit. So.
Do you think that eventually the metagame is going to kind of shape into that? Where
it always does.
Yeah.
It always does.
I mean, it does. It does. in 2014, we did see a lot of variety at Worlds.
Yeah, there was.
So-
Actually, 2014 was an exception to that. I mean, I thought 2014 was a bit better as far as variety. Like you said, compared to 2015. So, but yeah, that tends to happen. I think that there is more variety. Well, I mean, yes and no this season. I mean, it looks like most people will build around Kyger and Groudon,
Yep.
but at least I don't know. There's still a lot of opportunity, I think, for other Pokemon to shine. Hopefully. I mean, I brought Ho. No one really uses Ho, so I don't know. We'll see. I hope that
There's
is
a Pokemon that can shine.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
Yep.
I mean, it is shining red because it's a sun-like Pokemon.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Indeed.
Okay.
Well, thank you for letting me talk. That was fun.
All right, thanks, Eric.
How are you doing, by the way?
I'm 2-2. Wait, we play 4 rounds. No, 3-2. So we play 5 rounds.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you might have actually a shot at a update.
We'll see. All right, guys. Anyway, I kind of want to talk about this VGC 16 meta game. It is fairly new.